Today I want to talk about my long-term goals for my garden, and they are ambitious.
Yes! Please subscribe!
Okay, as most of you know, I've got three types of goals. My short-term, my medium-term, and my long-term goal. Today we'll be talking about my long-term goals. And this is where we are at the moment. We still got the entertainment, the food forest, and the vegetable area. Nothing in my long-term planning has changed from that. And this is what it looks like when we left off from the medium-term goals. Most of the structures were in place. Now, with the long-term goals, it's all things that are layered on top of this. So let's have a look at what I first want to layer on top. I want to put solar panels in. Now, as you can see, I've got quite a few places where I can put solar panels. My objective is to try and generate as much power as I can, because with more power you can do more things. And I'm hoping to at least cover the power consumption of my household, which is now, which at this time will be my wife and myself, and obviously the power consumption that the garden takes of running the pond and everything else and generating our own food. Now, the next thing I want to add on top of that is the solar heating. Now, the solar heating is a passive sort of solar system that just heats up water. It's not a photovoltaic system. It's just a passive solar heating. It takes the sun's rays and it heats up water. And I want to do this for a very good reason, because I want to convert the greenhouse area into an aquaponics area. Now, aquaponics is reported to be able to grow food faster, and so your productivity increases. That I have yet to establish. I don't know, but it sounds like a real good idea. And of course, an aquaponics system uses less water than just watering into the ground, because when you water stuff into the ground, the water drains away and runs away, whereas the aquaponics recirculate that water the whole time and uses the same water, and you only have to put in what goes up in evaporation and not what's running down. Now, talking about water, that is the next system I want to do. As you can see here, I want to put in a couple of barrels to catch rainwater. We get a lot of rain here, so water is not a big priority, and this could be considered a bit of an indulgence, but rainwater for your garden is healthier than certainly tap water, and certainly for the fish as well. So I'd like to be able to top up the fish pond with rainwater instead of tap water, which I think is, beneficial all ways round. And the next sort of system I want to do is put in wind turbines. Now, wind turbines in this sort of area is really controversial. It's received a lot of bad press, but I think wind turbines are very, very effective means of getting power, because the sun doesn't always shine. The skies in Britain can be pretty grey, but the wind can be quite a lot. Now, I know with wind turbines you have to have a speed of probably about 5 meters per second to make them efficient. Otherwise they're not really efficient. And that's the average sort of wind speed. Now, I've looked at this area, and I think we qualify for that, because it does get quite windy. Near the top of the hill. I'm not on the top of the hill, but I'm between two lots of terraces that sort of channel the wind down and concentrate it a little bit. But I'd have to do tests before I do that. Now, I've located all the 4 spots for the wind turbines. I don't know if I'll get 4, but I've certainly got 4 locations. I'm hoping to get away with at least 2, one on top of the roof and certainly one in the garden. Now, you've got to consider your neighbours when you're doing this sort of stuff, and my long-term goals certainly consider my neighbours. Now, my neighbour to the right over this side here has very tall bushes. They dwarf anything that I'm going to be doing here. So, this side is pretty well screened. The neighbour on the other side has mainly got a concreted garden. She's got a few beds where she can plant vegetables and everything else, but everything else is paved over. And she's got a big garage there where she puts her car in. So I don't think that looks too ugly. I think the view looks really, really nice. And if I go on this side, this is just down the road a little bit. I don't think the view is ugly at all. I think it looks very, very nice indeed. I think it will, I hate to brag, but I think it'll look better than what is there at the moment. And if I go to this side, now, as I say, my neighbour's got some very, very tall trees this side, so you won't really see much of my garden, but if he had to chop the trees down, this is what it would look like. And God forbid, I really don't want him to chop the trees down. They are beautiful trees. They attract the wildlife and the birds and stuff like that. And now if I take a trip, let's take a trip through the back door over here of the greenhouse, and we'll go in the greenhouse and we'll take a walk through the garden into my kitchen. So here we go. This is what the yard looks like for the greenhouse, and this is a view, and I think it looks quite nice. You're stacked with a whole lot of greenery. The buildings are sort of hidden behind it. And as you step out of the greenhouse door, this is the walkway. And you start to see little secrets hidden around. You can hear the fountain going, and you can't really see the pond because there's a lot of trees and all sorts of stuff growing. But it's beginning to start reveal some of the secrets of the garden, and I love gardens like that. So a little further along the walkway, just past the filter house over here, you start to turn the corner and you can see the entertainment area, and it's really looking beautiful because there's now flowers, and it's set in a backdrop. The covered walkways in the entertainment area will obviously have things like hanging baskets and stuff like that to really beautify it, and the bush shrubs and herbs, so it'll also be quite aromatic and it'll be pleasant to smell and sit in. Then if you go a little further, this is the entertainment area. Now I'm sitting in the entertainment area, so now you'll be sitting amongst all these flowers, looking over the water feature, and I think you'll hear it, and it'll be very, very beautiful indeed. Something that I really aspire to. And this is at my back door, looking out my back door. This is what you'll see of the garden, and I think that's a really nice view to step out your back door and to get something in like that. And of course this is back in my kitchen. So when we're cooking and washing up dishes or whatever, this is the view that we're looking at. And we can survey the garden, we can see the chickens, we can see our crops, we can see our pond. We can't quite see the greenhouse, but that's okay because I want that to be a whole different set in the garden, a whole different experience. Well, that's my garden. You know, 10, 15, 20 years is what it's going to take to do this work. I don't know how long it's going to take. But what I do know is that I'm going to be 10, 15, 20 years older when it comes, and I might will work towards something that I've dreamed of. I want to thank you for listening to my long-term goals, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.